Hey guys, it's Sarah and I am here with my top 10 books that I read in 2015. I read a lot of books this year, guys. It was so amazing. I think I read 62 total, and that's the most that I have read in probably the past 5 years. I wanted to take this year to really start getting back into reading, and I used my Goodreads challenge to do that. I also used the Pop Sugar Reading Challenge to do it, and it really helped me to just be picking up books every single day, and I really did. And I read some really incredible ones, so I'm so happy about it. And also, honestly, starting this channel helped me a lot too. I was able to hear about a lot of new books. A lot of them made this list. So if it hadn't been for BookTube, I don't know if I would have even heard of them. So joining this community and being a part of it has just been such a blessing, and it has really helped me to read a lot of books that I am considering some of my favorite of all time. So here we go, in order, top 10. Number 10 is The Girl on the Train by Paula Hawking. This one is a little controversial because not everyone loved this book. I liked it. I didn't like completely, oh, it was the most amazing book ever, but it did make my top 10 because it kept me interested enough that I had no clue what was going on the entire time. Our main character didn't know what was going on the entire time. But it just, I don't know, it had me captivated. It had me wanting, to keep reading to know what was happening and, what happened to these people and who did this to these people. And when you have an unreliable main character, because the main character is an alcoholic and she doesn't know what's happening half the time because she's drunk and she's not remembering things correctly. So, yeah, I really liked it. It has been compared to Gone Girl. I'm not going to say that because Gone Girl is in a league all its own. It's one of my favorite books of all time, and there's just, you can't, psychologically, you cannot beat Gone Girl, I don't think. I think if that happens, it's going to be crazy. But I'm not going to go so far as to say that, but I did really enjoy it, and yeah, came in at number 10. Number 9 is American Psycho by Bret Easton Ellis. This is a banned book that I read this year, and holy crap, this book. Oh my gosh. This book shocked me, and it really takes a lot to shock me. I have read all sorts of stuff, sexually, violently, like all that kind of stuff. So it really does take a lot to make me go, oh my gosh. And I got to points in this book where I had to put it down mid-sentence for a second because I just, too much. Like I can't, the graphic detail that is in this book was just incredible. I mean, I literally felt like I was there watching this happen. I could see every single detail, even the ones I did not want to see because they are yucky and icky and gross. And this guy is a psycho. Like, it's aptly named. This guy was in a he was crazy. So, if you haven't read the book or seen the movie, this follows a man named Patrick Bateman, and he is a 20-something, super rich, works on Wall Street type thing, obsessed with clothes and details and, eating at the best restaurants and just kind of all the artificial, superficial type things. He's also a psychotic serial killer by night. And you get to see him murder people in very extremely violent ways. He is not discriminatory in who he kills. He kills men, he kills women, he even killed a child. So it's dogs. He killed a dog, which really pissed me off. But just, I don't know, just the details were overwhelming. But I still wanted to read it. I still wanted to see what was happening. But a few times I had to physically put it down and say, I will pick you back up again in a little bit. Right now, you just need to stay away from me. But yeah, I ended up giving it 5 stars just because of what it did to me as a reader. It was just insane. Number 8 is The Fault in Our Stars by John Green. This is the only John Green book I have read so far. I absolutely loved it. It made me cry. It's ranked a little bit lower on my table because there were some things that had me captivated a little bit more. But overall, the story I really, really enjoyed. I enjoyed the characters, and like I said, it made me cry, it broke my heart. If you've read it or seen the movie, you know why. But it takes you in a different direction than you're expecting, so that's really what broke my heart. But yeah, I loved this book. Number 7 is American Sniper by Chris Kyle. Chris Kyle is the Navy SEAL who is very famous for being one of the best snipers in American history, as far as how many people he has killed, and just his skill level and things like that. He's one of the greatest, and he was killed himself by a Marine. I don't know if it was a Marine or a Navy person, someone who has PTSD. He was trying to help rehabilitate him, and that man turned around and killed him, and another Navy SEAL as well. So this book was very, very good. It was written really well. He's very funny. Obviously, this was written before his death, so I enjoyed reading about some of the things that he experienced in his numerous, deployments and tours and things like that. A lot of it was very scary. I was kind of, holding my breath a little bit. My husband has been in deployment situations, not quite the same as him because they don't do the same job, but he has been in dangerous places, and, it's very scary for us here at home, for sure, because we don't know what's happening. But yes, just what he went through was insane. His wife is amazing, and I really liked in the book how every couple chapters or so, his wife will have an excerpt that she wrote and put in the book, kind of what she was going through, and I really, really liked that. I also saw the movie adaptation of this that came out early in the year and really liked it. Bradley Cooper was amazing in it, and just I don't know, every time I think about Chris Kyle, my heart just breaks a little bit, because I think he was such an outstanding person, and for what happened to him to happen was tragic and not necessary, and just pissed me off. So there's that. Number 6 is the Wayward Pines trilogy, written by Blake Crouch. This came out of nowhere for me. I did not know that these books existed. This was turned into a TV miniseries that came on over the summer, I believe. There was a 10-part miniseries, and I wanted to watch it. It sounded really cool. And then my mom said, oh, that's a book trilogy by Blake Crouch. I was like, oh, I should read those first. And I'm really, really happy I did. I flew through these books. I think the second one I maybe read in 2 days, just completely. I was, So basically this follows a man who is it's been a while. I think he's FBI. I want to say he's FBI or CIA. I think he's FBI. Something like that. In Seattle, and one of his old partners goes missing in this town called Wayward Pines. So him and another detective are traveling there. I think it's in Idaho or something like that. So they travel there to figure out what happened to this agent. And as soon as they get into town, they get into a car accident, and then things happen, and he's kind of stuck there, and he can't leave, and he can't communicate with anyone outside. So he's like, what in the world is with this town? What's happening? I will not tell you what happened because it is insane. But you find out at the end of the first book what's actually happening, and it was just, the TV show followed it pretty well. There's a few things here and there that were different, and the ending was different, which I don't know. I didn't like the ending on the show as much as I liked it in the book. But the end of the third book left it open too, and I was like, what are you doing to me, Blake Crouch? You better write more. I don't know if he's going to, but oh my gosh, just But yes, this whole trilogy, Wayward Pines, Blake Crouch, it was phenomenal. Number 5 is Ready Player One by Ernest Cline. This book is so much fun. So much fun. I listened to the audio and read along with it when I was sitting down and able to do that with this book. But the audio book is so good. It's written or read by Will Wheaton, and he's perfect. But this book, if you have not heard of it, who are you, number 1? But number 2, this book follows a kind of a dystopian type society here in the U.S. And it is, a lot of people are in poverty, and the government is really big and evil and all that stuff. But basically they have created a virtual reality game system. And the person who created it ended up passing away, and he's extremely rich. And what he does is he leaves kind of what they call an Easter egg. So it's kind of like a little gem, a little hidden gem somewhere that you have to kind of really be skilled to understand it and see it and find it. So he leaves one of these in this virtual reality system and says, whoever finds this will inherit my billions of dollars. So this follows a set of characters who are trying to find this Easter egg so that they can inherit the money. The cool thing about it is that the virtual reality is so mainstream, it's almost like Facebook or like the internet in general, like everyone uses it. And so you kind of make friends who you've never seen in real life. You don't even know, if they're boys or girls. You don't know, what they look like, because they have these characters that are kind of like avatars on this video game system. A lot of 80s references in here as well for video games and TV shows and movies and things like that, which I really enjoyed. There's a whole little section in here where our main character acts out Monty Python and the Holy Grail. And I was like, yes. I was like, that was my favorite part because I love Monty Python so much. So yeah, I love this book so much. I loved it. Number 4 is another book that I listened to on audio, and that is Outlander by Diana Gabaldon. I watched this TV show first before I read the book, which I know it's a no-no, but the books intimidated me because they are very long. There's like 8 of them. They are all very long, and I was like, I just didn't know if I wanted to invest my time into reading all these, honestly. But I've always heard very good things about it, and then I watched the TV show and just completely fell in love with it. I was like, oh my gosh, I want more. And that's when I decided to go ahead and pick up the book. And I loved it. And the TV show pretty much followed the book pretty closely. I don't think there was much changing, not anything that stood out to me anyway. The book obviously has a lot more detail in it, but yeah, I just loved it. So this is I think it's considered historical fiction, but it is about a woman who lives in the 40s, and she ends up going on a honeymoon to Scotland with her husband, and she ends up accidentally time traveling back to like, I think it's the 1800s or something in Scotland, where it's, Irish clans and evil kings, and the English and the Irish are fighting, or Scots, sorry. Wow, Irish, no. Scots. All in Scotland. And she ends up kind of with this Scottish tribe, and, things happen and people fall in love, and she's trying to decide whether she wants to go back to her actual husband, where she's really from, or stay back in this time period where she has found someone else that she's in love with, and I don't know, she's kind of struggling with that. Oh, it's so good though. I will tell you, it is explicit in parts. There's some sexual scenes that are very strong, and also some very intense violence towards the end of the first book, including like sexual violence and things like that. So not for younger kids, most definitely, but oh my gosh. Oh, it's so good. And I'm very excited to read all of them. I have them all on my Kindle. I also have the second one in audiobook too. I really enjoyed the audiobook. The narrator was wonderful. So I'm kind of anticipating I'm going to listen at least to the second one. But yeah. Oh, so good. The third best book. I'm into the top 3 now. So number 3 is The Martian by Andy Weir. This book was so good. I was not expecting to like it as much as I did. This book is about an astronaut who goes on a mission to Mars with a crew. An accident happens on Mars where his crew believes that he is dead and they have to leave because it became very dangerous for them to still be on that planet. So they leave, and he's not dead. He's still there. So he's kind of stranded. So this is his survival story, basically. The science in this book went way over my head. I did not understand the stuff he was having to do or why or anything, but I didn't care that I didn't understand it. I still loved it. Mark Watney, who was our main character, is hilarious, and I loved that he used humor to kind of get him through the times where he also was like, I'm gonna die. Today it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. He also has to try to figure out a way to connect with NASA to let them know that he's still alive, because they don't know. They all think he's dead. So he doesn't want to end up dying on this planet. He wants them to come back and get him. So he has to try to communicate with NASA somehow so that they know. Of course, space travel is not like, hey, we'll be there in an hour. No, we'll be there in like a year. So I just, oh no, I loved it. And you also get the perspective from Mark Watney. You also get the perspective from NASA people who are trying to help him and, reach him and figure out what to do. So I really like the two perspectives there because you kind of saw it from both sides. But seriously, Andy Weir, amazing. He is writing another novel from what I'm hearing, and I will pick it up as soon as it comes out because seriously, this book was just so well written and hilarious. And I just loved it. Loved it so much. Okay, top two, guys. Oh, it was so hard. It was so hard to choose between these two, but I think I made the right decision. So, coming in at number 2 is actually a series that I started reading this year. I'm still 2 books behind, but it still made number 2 because these books were phenomenal. So I am going to say the Throne of Glass series by Sarah J. Maas. I have read Throne of Glass, which is the first book. I have read Crown of Midnight, which is the second book. And I also read the prequel novellas, which is called The Assassin's Blade. It has 5 novellas that lead up to what happens here in the Throne of Glass. So there's 2 other books that are published that I haven't read yet, but I'm going to do that really soon. So these books just, I had never heard of them before BookTube, and I saw everyone talking about them. I was like, those sound amazing. I'm gonna give them a try, and I cannot tell you how good they are. So this follows a character named Selena Sardothian. She is an assassin in, these are high fantasy, so they are made up worlds. But she is an assassin. She ends up in a prison, kind of expecting to die there. And one day a prince, the prince of the land, comes and he saves her and says, I will let you out, I will take you with me, and you will compete to be the king's assassin. So she has to do this big competition between a bunch of different assassins and try to become the king's assassin. The king sucks. He is evil, he's terrible, she knows this, but she's trying to stay alive too. So that's what happens in this book. And then the second book, I'm not even going to talk about it because it was amazing. And I don't know. I love these. I just completely sped through this one and the second one and the novellas. And just, I don't know. The world that Sarah J. Maas has built is just insane. And it's incredibly detailed. I feel like I'm there. The things that Selena's going through are incredibly believable. And I don't know. And I love Selena as a character because she's extremely strong. She's also a girl, she likes shopping, she likes pretty things, she likes dresses, she likes reading. So you kind of get to see those 2 little sides of her, which I really love. She's not just completely hard-headed and, she is hard-headed, but, she has a soft side too, which is good. There's also a really good love triangle in here. I still don't know personally who is going to be anything for her, but yeah, I don't know. I love these books so much. If you have not read these, give Throne of Glass a try, see what you think. And I love them. These are going to be auto buys for me. I am collecting the paperback, so that's why I'm a little bit behind, but so good, so good. All right, we reached the number 1 spot. So this for me was the best book that I read this year. It was the best content. It was the best written. The things it did to my heart were just the best. And it's actually a book that is extremely old, and I'm probably the last person on the planet of age who read it. But that is To Kill a Mockingbird by Harper Lee. I had never read this book until this summer. I believe I read it for BookTubeathon, and oh my gosh, you guys, this book. It does things to me. I loved the content that was in here. It was hard to read at times because this deals with racism in the Deep South, and it contains one of my favorite characters ever written, which is Atticus Finch. And seriously. And now, after I've read this, I have heard a bunch of references, especially like to Boo Radley, in TV shows and stuff, and I'm like, I understand that now. I know who that is. Before I read that, I would have no idea if they say Boo Radley. I'm like, who are they talking about? But now I know it's To Kill a Mockingbird. But yes, this book is it's beautiful and it's important, and I understand why they taught it in schools. and I'm just so happy that I finally picked it up and read it, because it has easily become one of the best books I've ever read in my entire life. It's one of my favorites, and it's just beautiful. I will reread this. I know I will. Probably in a couple of years I'll pick it back up and read it again, but just, this book is stunning. Okay guys, those are my top 10 books that I read this year. Please let me know your thoughts. Let me know if you read any of these books and what you thought. Let me know some of your favorites that you read this year. Maybe I can pick them up in 2016. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed that. Please let me know if you have any questions, and I will be back again soon. Hope you guys have a great day. Bye.